my name's Caitlin. I'm a first year student at Duke University, and today I'm going to be sharing the supplemental essays I wrote to get accepted. So I'm going to be reading the questions directly from the Common App for you guys, and then I'll be sharing the essays that I responded to those questions with. So the first essay I'm going to be sharing is in response to the why Duke question. Specifically, it asks, what is your sense of Duke as a university and a community, and why do you consider it a good match for you? If there's something in particular about our offerings that attracts you, feel free to share that as well. And then they give you a 250 word limit, so it's a very short essay. So this was my response to that question. Roaring crowds, a sea of blue and white, and an unmatched group of spirited students entitled the Cameron Crazies. I adore the school spirit that is so evident at Duke. As a cheerleader at my high school, I understand there's nothing quite like a shared love for a school that creates a community with such diversity. This love for Duke is what initially drew me in, but its world-renowned professors, research opportunities, and extracurriculars are what caused me to stay. I aspire to create change in the scientific community by becoming a researcher focused on explaining the roles of RNA in cancer and viral disease development. Engaging in the cancer genetics course will further my fundamental knowledge of the roles of genetics in cancerous cell development, a key player in the research I hope to conduct in the future. I aspire to join the Mayer Lab to participate in research on the functions of RNA in gene expression and create connections to the knowledge gained from the biological science classes I will be taking. Joining Duke today as a science and technology staff writer will allow me to combine my interests in science and writing to engage students around campus with new scientific discoveries. Taking a walk around the Duke Gardens, watching actual seasons change, thanks a lot Miami, and visiting the Lemur Center are just some of the leisurely activities I'm excited to partake in at Duke. So that was my Why Duke essay. After the Why Duke essay, that was the only required short essay you're supposed to write. And then there is 2 optional short essays that you can respond to. I chose to respond to 2. And the ones I chose to respond to were the perspective response and the intellectual experience. So for the perspective response, the prompt is, we believe a wide range of viewpoints, beliefs, and lived experiences are essential to making Duke a vibrant and meaningful living and learning community. Feel free to share with us anything in this context that might help us better understand you and what you might bring to our community. Coming from a Latin and Hispanic household, it was never easy to get some alone time. Whether it was hanging out with my dozen or so cousins or being lightly interrogated about my love life by my older tias, Cuban and Peruvian values heavily insist upon family dependence. While initially feeling quite suffocating, I've grown to love this immense supportive community my family has created. One particular instance comes to mind when reminiscing on the support of my family. The amount of food and gifts you receive when you catch an illness. I recently had the flu, and my grandparents brought multiple aluminum foil pans filled to the brim with homemade Cuban food, an onion to place in my socks, and a jar of Vicks Vapor Rub, a classic in Hispanic illness treatments. I used to question the legitimacy of these practices, specifically the onion in the sock that's supposed to absorb my germs and take away my sickness. But I've recently learned to graciously accept these tokens as gifts. Performing acts of service and giving gifts almost seems to be the love languages of Hispanic families. Now, as I enter family gatherings with the scent of arroz verde flowing out the front door, I appreciate my overbearing abuelos and abuelas, as I know this attentiveness comes from a place of love. The support of my lovingly overbearing family has taught me about the importance of community and helping others in times of need. And now the last essay that I wrote for my Duke application was the intellectual experience one. Tell us about an experience in the past year or 2 that reflects your imagination, creativity, or intellect. Throughout the 10th grade, I became enamored with the inner workings of cells and their functions after completing my anatomy and physiology class, deciding to further explore the biological field by taking AP Biology. From observing the cells of onions under microscopes to learning how to create gels for electrophoresis to even dissecting a sheep's heart, there was never a day of boredom in the classroom. I knew from then on that I wanted to explore biology outside of school and decided to apply to a local summer research internship. The program matched me to a biochemistry lab researching the roles of DNA polymerases, which are cellular components that grow DNA, in cancer and viral disease development, and I was ecstatic to begin. My work in the lab consisted of creating 2 computer simulations of DNA polymerase kappa, one reacting with 2 DNA strands and one with an RNA and DNA strand. These simulations suggested that DNA polymerase kappa can potentially grow small amounts of DNA from RNA strands, a current question in modern research still being experimented on. This research implies that scientists can create medications targeting polymerase kappa when treating viral diseases in patients, such as HIV, potentially ridding the patient of these diseases altogether. Overall, my experience exploring biology outside the classroom led me on a journey that solidified my interest in the biological sciences and has encouraged me to pursue a career that continues to create change through scientific innovation. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are currently in the college application process and you're applying to Duke, good luck. I hope to see you here next year. Thank you all for watching once again, and I will see you all in the next video.